What's going on, guys? Today's video we're going to show you how we can do a taper fade. This is a low slash mid taper fade. I'm just going to call it a low fade, but we're just going to get straight into it. So some of the supplies that I use the 3-in-1 station that you can get on Amazon. I got it for about $20 to $30. It's pretty inexpensive, but I honestly think it's a must-have. There's some that you can get with some LEDs out there. I also do have a Babyliss trimmer here, and it is zero gapped. Both my trimmer and my clippers are both zero gapped. I have to kind of fix my clippers, but these are the guards we're going to be using, and this is the clipper. It's, as you can see, it's close to zero gapped. I might have to readjust it again, but we also have brushes here, which I also recommend to get a lot of brushes for cleaning your utensils and your workspace, basically. All right, we're first going to start with the first guideline. We're going to use our trimmer. We're going to go about 1/2 inch. I usually start off underneath my ear. There's two ways of actually using trimmers and clippers. So there's a flat blade here, and you basically flick out as you get closer to the line where you need to go. You flick out, and then when you have a scooped motion, you're going to scoop it out. So if it's arched blade, you're basically scooping out away from it, and you're softening it up basically as you release pressure from the head. And we're going to go ahead and start off with that. We're going to use an electric shaver. We're going to flick the same thing where you flick out that line. You're going to come in with your trimmers after. You can just do some detail work. For our next guideline, we're going to go ahead and use our clippers. We're going to open up all the way up, and we're going to go about 1/2 inch above that previous guideline. As you can see, we're going to use that white stencil as a guide. You can use guides if you choose to do so. I highly encourage it for beginners. Once again, you're going to use the scoop out motion as you get closer to that line, scoop out or flick depending on your blade. And then in between that, you're going to go ahead and close the lever halfway, and you're going to flick in between. You're going to go basically erase the bottom guideline, just soften it up a little bit, and you're going to keep going into it. So that will basically soften it up, and then once you have a good enough measure, basically, you can go ahead and close it fully and try to take out that final line. You're going to flick it at the line. Don't go past the line. You can, when you go do detail work, you're going to use the edge of the clipper and just use it. But for now, we're going to go with the half guard all the way open. We're going to go about a little sliver up, probably like 1/3 of an inch. It's not that much. Basically, you can use your corners of your clippers, and you can use that to help detail work it. Once again, it's all the way open, and then once you are ready, you can go ahead and do halfway, and you're also going to just go underneath that what you just did. You're not making guidelines with this as much. You're making basically detail work, fading it up. You're using the clipper, you're using the corners of the clipper, and you're just basically scooping out and softening it up so it's easier to blend with the next guard that we're going to be using. You can open and close the lever as you need to in order to help erase the lines. As you can see, there was a faint line here, so I wanted to erase it with the trimmer. Now we're going to take a little break right here, but as you can see, the fade's coming together. We're going to use the one guard all the way open. Basically the same exact scenario. We're going to be doing mostly the edges of the clipper. That's what you're going to be doing for most of the short spaced areas, and that's what I recommend to do. And then you're going to go halfway, and you're going to go a little bit underneath that of what you just passed. Once again, it's about a little bit, not a full inch, since we are keeping it low. We're just basically making our guidelines very, very short, and then we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to basically fade it in for where that was from halfway. So it's like kind of an easy situation here. It kind of is kind of complicated to be able to do this, but once you get the hang of it, you make your own guidelines, and you just basically scoop out, if depending on the guard you have. As you can see, this is blending into mostly of the top, and once again, it's all the way open. We're blending it in, we're flicking out, we have more of an aggressive or exaggerated motion here. We're just flicking out a lot more just so we can connect the top of the hair and not take any of the bulk out, and then we just keep all the darkness spots. So this is what we're doing. We're just going to do a little bit more of detail work in here, and then we're going to go ahead and line up our little hair here. And then we also will go ahead and do a little C-cup action. I just recently learned this. It's basically, you just use the edges of the corner of the clipper, and then you just draw out a line. It's kind of complicated when you do it the first time. I'm still learning on it, but you want to be very confident when you're doing something like that. And then we're just going to go to repeat all the steps on the other side, and then we're going to move to the back of the hair. So at the back of the hair, what you're going to do is you're going to start off with the trimmer. You're going to make a bald guideline, which will be basically all the way at the bottom. And you're going to go same thing, clipper all the way open. You're going to start your first guideline about 1 inch to 2 inches. People usually keep up the blend. The higher you go with this one is the longer the fade will be. So if you go up about 1 inch, 2 inches, that's how long the fade will be. And then you're just going to close it halfway. And basically we're going to tack the line mainly in between the one that was already made and the new trimmer blade. You can kind of see the lines here for everything. In position, I drew on my skin just so you can see it a little better, but with the half blade, you're just going to go blend in between that. Don't pass the black line, which I showed you before. You're softening up that bottom line. As you can see, it's very softened now, and you can just use your trimmer and close it all the way up. Your clipper, sorry. You use your clipper, close it all the way up, and then just basically flick out that line or what's left of it. As you can see, I took it out mostly, but you basically just keep flicking it out. Use your corner of the blade if you needed. That's what's going to help you do some better detail work. You're going to use your half guard here all the way open. Once again, you're just going to do a sliver of work. You're not going to do a full guideline. It's mainly just connecting it to the top and a little bit of a easier way to soften it up so it's not as harsh when we go into that next guard. So we're just doing that right here, as you can see. And we're just a little bit above that white line, just kind of detailing it a bit. And then just going to keep doing that. We're going to close it halfway and then all the way. Do the same exact steps that we did basically on the side. It's very simple on actually how to do this. A lot of barbers do the same thing. It's hard to teach online, but you know, if you got the information out there, you can try to do it. And I'm trying to do it here. I'm not a really good teacher when it comes to anything like this, but I'm pretty sure I can get the information out to you. Make sure you keep your work area clean. We're going to use our 2 guard. We're going to open it all the way up, and we're doing exaggerated motion here. We're connecting it to the top, so we're flicking out a lot more and scooping it out. Now we're going to do a line up here, and what you're going to do is you're basically just lining it up. You know, you're going to take out a little bit of more of what's supposed to be needed, and you're going to try to keep it as straight as possible. I'm trying to learn more about this because it is a hard thing to do, to be able to line up yourself. You have to make sure it's even. You have to make sure it's, you know, crispy, and you have to make sure there's no leftover hairs whenever you comb it down. People do use Spritz when it comes to this to lock in the hair or something like that, like hairspray. I don't use it, but I probably will in the future just to make sure it gets a crispier line. And I think I would use that in the future. But basically, that 3-in-way station here that I'm using, it's a huge help when it comes to this. Like, it's just so useful. Now we're going to use a little shave gel right here. We're going to use these little, I don't know what they're called, but we're going to use this little shaver. And yeah, we're going to just do that. We're going to just take out basically everything. You can use your electric shaver as well. I'm lining up I'm just doing an eyebrow slit here, and I'm just going to clean out my eyebrows as well, but that's fully optional. I just started doing it just because it looks a little nicer, better than normal eyebrows, I guess you can say, but it's completely opinion based. All right, now I did get this enhancement spray thing, the little kit. I don't really recommend using enhancements, but this little cheap kit, I don't recommend it at all because it's just bad. I recommend actually going full on, like water enhancements. The cut's looking like, it took about an hour. I usually take about 20 minutes on a cut, but this is what the end of the result looks like. It looks pretty clean in my opinion. This is a 2-year process, and how I was doing barbering, about 100 haircuts once per week for about 2 years. So I've been doing barbering for a while, I guess you could say. I'm still learning, but once we get even better and better, we're going to try to do blurry fades, and we're going to do more. We're going to probably have clients in the future. I want to try to do barbering as an actual profession in the future, but you know, this is just a good start, a good way to teach other people as a beginner. This is some of the steps that I learned and some of the easy stuff that you can easily take in consideration. If you guys want to check any of my videos out, like, comment, subscribe. I have more videos out, and there's a lot of giveaways, PS5 giveaway if you want to check anything out. See you guys in the next one, and we out.